the May 3rd tornado made a hard north turn and went up to Hudaburg Drive and I-40. This will do the same thing, but it is now east of Moore High School at Sunny Lane, Sooner, and South 4th and North 12th Street. Go, John Welsh.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you exactly what this is right at my house. It's crossing right now, Bryant, just north of 12th Street. We're getting some highlights of some flashes in there, and their antennas right there that are just north of 12th Street. That's what we're hitting. It looks like, from our vantage point, it's right there. It looks like it's kind of weakened a little bit as Travis will kind of push in there. It's still tracking straight east. It looks like on 12th Street, where you have, it's fixing to cross, if it hasn't already, it's crossing Bryant, it's fixing to cross Sunny Lane, and then it's going to hit that bend in Sooner Road where they made the annex for the proposed lake that they made years ago. That's where it's headed right now, straight east, and it looks like it's over 12th Street. We're still getting tons of power flashes way in front of this storm.
Did we just lose connection?
Let's go to the North Doppler control room. We'll show you exactly where it is. The tornado's right here. There's Sunny Lane. Here's Sooner. And this is going to be 12th and 4th Street. There's Moore High School. So it's exactly 2 miles now due east of Moore High School on Sunny Lane, heading up for Sooner. You see it clearly right there. And here's the GM plant. There's Tinker Air Force Base. This is Midwest and Douglas Boulevard. So still very much on the ground, still quite large, in the neighborhood of 1/2 mile wide right now. Go, John Welsh.
Yeah, there it is, Mike. It's fixing to come across what appears to be Sunny Lane and 12th Street. We're trying to get a little bit of distance here. Look at all that debris in the air. I mean, that debris, it's 500 or 600 feet up in the air, and it's going. So it's still grinding, still on the ground. It is really ripping, and it's probably right now about 1/2 mile to 3/4 of a mile from crossing Sooner Road. So it's on Sooner Road. If everybody's got a map, you can kind of see that bend in there. That bend was for the annex for the second lake right next to Lake Stanley Draper. So it's coming right along this way. It looks like it's on track if it stays right here eastbound to go right through the center of Hefner Lake. Let's get the skid out of the shot there. But you can see this thing is grinding, it's ripping, and we're getting power flashes all the way down to like 149th Street here. So this thing, it might have weakened, just momentarily recycled, but it's back down on the ground and it is grinding. As you can see from our shot, it's probably 1/8 of a mile right there from crossing Sooner Road. So Sooner Road and 134th Street is fixing to be where it's exactly at. It's fixing to barrel across, and it's going to come into the some pretty much vacant land as it comes to the annex part of the lake and heads right towards Draper and Tinker Air Force Base there, Mike.
Centered right now between Sunny Lane and Sooner at North 4th, due east of Moore High School. Let's take the storm tracker. Where is this headed? You see, it is a giant barrel with a massive debris over towards Stella, Choctaw, Nuwala, Hara, Twin Lakes, McLeod, and the Casino, Dale, over here to the east. So it's going to clip, it's going to move into southeastern Oklahoma County. Red line, center line for Nuwala. Red line, center line for Nuwala. Could go as far north as Hara, still could turn up to the Tinker Diagonal on the southeast sides of Midwest City. Back to Bob.
Sound muted.
Go, John.
Yeah, there it is, Mike. It's fixing to cross Sooner Road right now, and it's coming into that annex part of the lake that they annex. So luckily for the time being, there's not there are very few houses in here, if any. I think the city's bought most of them out, but it's continuing to track straight east, and as you can see, this thing hasn't decreased in size any, and I'm actually kind of getting a little closer than I want to be to it right now, but this thing is sucking us in at about 50 to 60 miles an hour right now. I'm tracking it. The inflow is still huge. It's sucking all that energy, but it's still continuing, tracking straight east. It looks like it's crossed Sooner Road. It's down in that valley. There's a couple big creeks in this area that it's in this annex lake. So typically these tornadoes are going to find the path of least resistance. They're going to stay in all that low ground, and so it's going to come up here. And there's the water tower and the water treatment plant that is on the southeast side or the southwest side of Lake Draper. It appears at this time it's going to go just north of that, and it's going to continue to track over the top of that. So we'll see what it does when it crosses the lake, but it's continuing to rip and grind all these trees up as it's crossed Sunny Lane, continuing to go eastbound towards Draper, and it looks like it's going to be about north of 149th Street here, Mike.
Indeed, and it's now it's approaching Air Depot. It's approaching Air Depot. And we're getting a little closer to South 89th Street. We're down there at about 120th South, 130th South, but it is now between Sooner and Air Depot, and it is going to go over the northern or central parts of Draper Lake here coming up. Go, John.
It's zoning out a little bit. Hey, look, I got to move here real quick. Hey, but while I'm flying away from it, look at it, Mike. It's lightening up.
Wow.
It's becoming more of a barrel-shaped. It's the wedge is decreased a little bit. It's slowly turning. It almost looks like it's turned to the southeast. So I'm breaking away from it as fast as I can because it's getting a little closer for my comfort. But it's changed shape. It's barreled. It's gotten a little higher. The base has rised. The base is probably about 1,300 to 1,400 feet above the ground. So it's just 300 or 400 feet below me. And as you can see, it's got a definite cone shaped on it, and it appears that it's turned to the southeast. So at this time, just from our vantage point, and just kind of trying to triangulate the way it's going to move, it appears that it's going to hit that water treatment plant on the southwest side of Draper. So if you're in this area, I believe it's like the Draper 74th Street, I think is what it is. If you're in that area, definitely seek caution. If you're going to be south of Draper, on the east side of Draper, you need to be in your shelter. This thing is not light. It's not letting up. It's actually, looks like it's decreased a little bit. We've lost, I think, a lot of the debris, so it kind of changed the shape of it. It gave it more of a barrel shape and not as much of a structure. So you can actually see the shape of the tornado now, because the only thing that it's got to rip up right now is trees. We're not getting all the construction debris that we had earlier that actually appears to give it a wider base than it is. But it's continuing to rip. It's kind of got a big, like a trunk down, and then it kind of has a little V-funnel right there, tracking straight for 149th Street in the southwest side of Draper Lake, right towards the water treatment plant at this time. And it's really fizzling out as we're seeing. I'm going to do another turn here. I'm getting kind of far away, but it looks like it's roping out a little bit. And this is over like 149th Street and maybe just the east side of Air Depot Road. There it is. It's gone, Mike. So let's see. We're going to stay right here. We're going to see if it recycles, but it's completely roped out, or it's continuing to rope out as we speak right now. And it looks like it's roping out at Air Depot Road, and I'm going to say 134th Street, right in that area. So, man, look at that rope on that thing. It's
going to dance here for a while. The whole updraft there is constricting and shrinking. It's going to sit there and dance for a while. The wind in that still could be F4 criteria, but it's just literally about 100 feet wide now. And the vortex is likely still on the ground, but it roped out mighty fast, but still likely a vortex on the ground. And look how the debris ball is just spinning at about 100 miles an hour all the way around that rope.
Oh, just right there to hit us. Yeah, Mike, hey, as you can see, it's roped out. Look at the very top as Travis will back out and go up to the top of the top of the base there. You can see the whole base is continuing to rotate. The swirls in the rain is still cyclonic. It's still moving with it. So, I don't know if this thing is recycling for another round, but the inflow, that feeder band is lowered. It's continuing to, looks like, suck in moisture. So this thing could just cycle for a moment and set back down. But again, right now, I'm just south of, I'm at 164th and Air Depot Road, shooting pretty much straight to the northwest, where that tornado just roped out there. Feeder band is still there. Feeder band looks like it's still pretty low to the ground. It's way lower than we are. So we'll just stay here and continue to watch it as these scud clouds continue to rotate, pretty much where that band just broke free there, Mike.
Let's go to the storm tracker. Let's go to the storm tracker. This is where that tornado, it may have lifted, might still be a little rope on the ground, but Draper right now over to Newhall at 408, Hera at 414, Fire Lake Casino at 421, and Dale at 424. So it's going to go across the southeastern corner of Oklahoma County or exit out of the far northeastern corner of Cleveland County, and then basically head for the area that suffered the extensive tornado damage earlier, maybe a little further north than that. There's the Twin Lakes Lakes area right there that had the F4, F5 go through yesterday. And this tornado now may have lifted, could still be a little rope on the ground on the western sides of Lake Draper. Now, further down to the south, we are getting tornado reports now from Reed Timmer, from Bray, Oklahoma. So let's walk down to this and take a look from Bray, Oklahoma. And Reed checked in with us a while ago. Tornado warning for Garvin County. Tornado reported near Bray, Oklahoma. That one is heading for Maysville and Pauls Valley down south. Say that again. And you have Reed Stream right here. There's Reed looking at it. There's the tornado at Bray. Do we have Reed on the Gintner? There's Reed Stream. This is a different tornado. That appears to be on the ground. This is Reed Timmer. Down by Bray, Oklahoma, and I'm gonna text him right now and have him call so he can give us an update on this storm that is down in the Elmore City, Lindsay, Pauls Valley, Maysville, Velma, Alma area. That appears to be either on the ground or virtually on the ground down coming into Garvin County right now. So that is a tornado warning for Garvin County and also for northeastern Stevens County. And that does appear to be a tornado on the ground, at least intermittently at the very most. And that circulation there is coming out of the northeastern corner of Stevens County near Bray, Oklahoma. And that's going to be heading directly for Pauls Valley. Heading directly for Pauls Valley is where that tornado is heading, moving east-northeasterly at close to 40 miles an hour. Confirmed stovepipe on the ground. You just saw it from Reed Timmer, and it is heading directly for Pauls Valley. The tornado is located in the northeastern corner of Stevens County, right there, heading directly for Pauls Valley, and that is Reed Timmer and the Dominator there down in Garvin County. Let's go back up here to the Lake Draper area with Bob Moore, Chopper 4, and John Welsh live.
You know what? I don't even own that house.
John? Let's take a look at the current tornado warnings that we do have in effect. And southeastern Oklahoma County, Lincoln County now, new tornado warning for that storm at Lake Draper. Recall yesterday they cycled and produced additional tornadoes for a period of hours. And this tornado has been on the ground for 45 minutes to about an hour, and it could easily cycle as it heads into northern Pottawatomie County and southern Lincoln County. Tornado warning southeastern Oklahoma County, tornado warning for northeastern Cleveland County, tornado warning for northeastern Stevens County and all of Garvin County right now, and a tornado warning for Jefferson County in south central Oklahoma. Linda Cavanaugh has been over at the news desk gathering a lot of information, and Linda, it's been an awful afternoon again weather-wise. You have more.
It has been awful, and we have a lot of people listening to the scanners. We have crews on the scene, but initial reports, and let me say this is from scanner traffic only. We've not confirmed it with our own eyes, but from scanner traffic only. Reports that Briarwood Elementary may have been hit in Moore. We have crews on the way, and we'll get that information for all of you just as quickly as possible. Know that Oklahoma City elementary and middle schools will not release until the tornado warnings are over. Your children will not be on the buses. The same for Middale schools. They're holding the children. We have major damage reported at South 149th and May. And additional information coming in. Mike, as soon as we get it, we'll pass it on to you.
Linda, I think it looks like this tornado may be cycling on the northern side of Draper Lake right now, looking at it. Let's go to Mike Bennett here live. Mike, it looks like the tornado may be cycling. That wall cloud looks like it's getting lower. Mike, Emily Sutton joins us live. Emily? You're on, Emily.
I don't know if you got that earlier.
We'll see if we can clear that phone line up. As you might imagine, there are tons of people on the phones, and the phone lines are really garbled. Let's go take a look at okay, this is Mike Bennett's shot right here. I believe this is Mike Bennett. Could be Emily. This is Bennett. This is the new cycle on this violent tornado that just tracked through Moore. And obviously there is extensive widespread damage in Moore from at least that F4 tornado. Could have been an F5. This is the new cycle here. And this could develop into a new tornado very, very quickly. It's on the northeastern side of Draper Lake. Let's go back to Bob Moore, Chopper 4, live.
Don't talk to him. It's just his picture.
We won't talk to him. He's trying to organize with other aircraft in the area. He is surveying the damage now in Moore. Just join in, John, when you have a minute. But this is the aerials now from Moore.
I saw it, yes.
And there's the Moore water tower. Go, John Welsh.
I have no idea.
You're on.
All right. Hey, all right, Mike, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, we're coming back in on this track, and let me tell you where I'm at. I'm over 4th Street, and I'm going to make a turn here. I'm over 4th Street and Bryant. There's that Veterans Memorial Park right there, and it's gone. Everything in it is gone. We're going to take a look towards the, when Travis gets pulled back, come back to your left, Travis. Come back to your left, and a little bit more to your left, and zoom in right there. All right, so right there to your left, that's man, we're getting hit by some heavy rain. That right there is Veterans Memorial Park. If everybody knows where that's from more, it's on 4th and Bryant. The housing addition to the left is going to be like Wimberley Creeks, I think. The 2 houses in are completely gone. Off to your right, we're going to pan back towards the south, and we have houses in that addition gone. We have the Moore Administration Building. It has some heavy damage done to the backside and the roof of it. The houses behind it are completely gone. The Brink Junior High School, just behind it, there's the auxiliary, or I believe it's the gymnasium building. That building is completely trashed right there in the center, as you can see. The track from here, it went just south of 4th Street, and it's going to go right towards the, I'm getting hit by some heavy rain here. It's going to go right towards the Walmart, the neighborhood market. The neighborhood market is on Southeast 4th and Eastern. The track went just south of it, and we're getting hit by some RFDs. The track went just south of it and went straight to the west, and it's going to cross another housing addition right there. I believe it's Apple Creek, and it's going to come up on passing a Tower Road, and it's going to cross the train tracks there. From the train tracks, we're still in between 12th Street.
Hey, wake up!
We're between 19th Street and 4th Street. It went straight across there, hit those houses. It run right along the highway, and looks like it went over. If you'll go to your right, Travis, we'll go from Lowe's to the Warren Theater. Looks like it tracked just north of the Warren Theater, and it hit the Warren Theater. It hit the bowling alley. It hit the bank. It hit the post office, and right there on the corner is the Norman Regional Healthcare Center. It's the hospitals right there on 4th and Telephone Road. It hit that. We're going to continue to go to the west. We have several housing additions right here. We've got a trailer park. And this thing just completely destroyed right here as we go from Santa Fe, and again, I'm between 19th Street and 4th Street and more. We're still headed west. Let me zoom in here, and look at that school. Look at that school, guys. Oh my God, right there. Keep coming back to your left, Travis. Keep coming back to your left. If you guys can see this, I don't know how to explain it, how to describe it. This is terrible. This is war zone terrible. This school is completely gone. Now we're going to stay right here. It's right to the right. If you'll pan back to the right, you're going to see the school. That was it right there. That's what's left of it. And you can see all the housing additions that are, all this house right here is completely destroyed. And, guys, we're going to have to definitely police and everybody en route. That is a school. No, that's a storage unit. Come back to your left. If you guys are still with me here, this damage path is right there in the top right of your screen. There's the school. I'm unsure sure the exact name of it, but that's going to be on. It's going to be south of 4th Street. It's going to be east of Santa Fe. Whatever school that is, it's going to be. It is, like you see, completely destroyed as kids run up to hopefully their loved ones. But this whole area right here, guys, is it's completely destroyed. The houses are destroyed. They're completely leveled. We're gonna just stay right here in this area. This is the hardest hit area. Police have folks stopped right here on Santa Fe, in between 19th Street and 4th Street. This is by far the hardest hit area. As you can see, we've got more police out there trying to find everybody, or doing what they do best, is rendering aid. And all the kids are running. We'll stay here for a little bit and see if we get some damages, or if we get some a report of how everybody's doing. I'm just going to talk to you as we kind of stay on this shot. As we continue to look back towards the west, this whole area is just completely demolished. Every house in this area is leveled. I'm fixing to cross. I'm just north of 149th Street, and this whole area right here, this neighborhood, in between Santa Fe and Western.
John, can you hear me?
Police are driving through there looking for people. Yeah, I can hear you. Linda, can you hear me?
Yes, John, we need to let people know that they're going to set up a search and rescue headquarters at the Warren Theater. We saw your video from before where it showed the Warren Theater was in relatively good shape compared to many of those buildings around it. You're doing a terrific job of bringing home the misery that's happening right now. We need the prayers of everyone for more Oklahoma again. Now, you're telling me that this is video of parents reuniting with their children. I'm told that that's a school in the background. You can see police officers all around, but look at the ground on that shot previously before he pulled out. Go ahead, John.
Let me show you another school. It's right out my door, Travis. If you keep coming around, perfect. Now straight down and to your left, right there. That's another school, Linda.
Oh my goodness.
And that one looks like I don't know what to say. That one looks harder. It looks harder hit than any of them before.
Oh my goodness.
As a parent, this is kind of hard to report on. But we're going to stay in the air. We're going to show you. I mean, these pictures tell everything. The Orr family farm. If you guys are familiar with that, it's going to be it's like on Penn, I think, in 149th. It's right out the left.
And Travis, John, have Travis pull back into that school. Those appear to be the first people who've been able to make it to the scene, walking carefully through that debris. You see other people now, they're gathering. Of course, we're trying to find out if the kids were being sheltered there or someplace else. Our thoughts and prayers are with everybody in the Moore area. The devastation is complete. One of our cameramen called it atomic bomb-like devastation.
It's just unbelievable. And again, we're trying to figure out right now, were the kids there? And of course, they're looking right now, looking for, we hope they're not looking for fatalities or survivors. We're hoping that the kids were gone, but we're not sure at this point. We're getting as much information in as we can.
Second of two schools destroyed in Moore, Oklahoma, along with a huge section of residential housing. If we go back to those shots in the future, you'll see that the ground literally is nothing but mud. There is nothing on the ground.
It looks like May 3rd, what we saw on May 3rd of 1999.
Go ahead.
I'm being told, guys, that is the Plaza Towers Elementary School. So if you guys can find out. Plaza Towers, and I'm unfor sure of this other school here. It's going to be on like 149th and in between Penn and Western. The Orr family farm, if you guys are familiar with that area, is right behind that. The family farm is trashed. This whole area between between like Penn, you have Western and Santa Fe. Those 3 miles or those 2 mile sections right there. Guys, everything is leveled for almost the whole mile. Travis is kind of showing you some wide shots here. This is unbelievable.
And John, this is reminiscent of the May 3rd, 1999 storm that moved through the Moore area and literally tore out entire neighborhoods and housing conditions. That's what it looked like.
That's exactly what it looked like.
And we're looking at the same thing right there. We pray to God that those people were somehow underground when that hit. On May 3rd, 1999, people were diving into manhole covers trying to get away from the storm if they didn't have underground shelter. Mike Morgan was warning these folks at least an hour, at least 30 minutes before the storm hit, to leave the area if they did not have underground sheltering in place. We hope that that's the case. We hope the death toll does not resemble that May 3rd tornado.
Mike, was that the exact path of the May 3rd tornado? Was that the...
This was along the exact path, and then as it came deeper into Moore, it's a little bit on the southern sides of the May 3rd path. And I don't want to make comparisons too much to May 3rd, just in terms of, well, what I'll say is this tornado is, I believe, is wider. And I think that we're going to find that there are many more structures that have been hit compared to May 3rd from what you and I are seeing right now live from Bob Moore Chopper 4. May 3rd took some areas that weren't developed back in 1999 through Moore. And I think the total was 6,000 some odd structures that were damaged or destroyed. I believe the amount may be more with this particular tornado today.
And you look at that scene of destruction there and the small figures of those rescuers working frantically here, looking here. Just, where do you begin? I mean, that's the question. Where do you begin on something like this?
Mike, how long was that tornado on the ground?
Well, it was on the ground for just under 1 hour. Linda, it set down just southwest of west of Newcastle, and then went to that large wedge. And I think the peak width on it was about 1.5 miles wide. That's one thing that I'm noticing looking at these pictures is the debris path appears to be significantly wider through more than May 3rd, 1999. And again, most of this path is just on the southern sides of the May 3rd path.
We just saw somebody there, obviously in distress, as any of us would be, walking upon a scene like that, looking through the rubble there.
Again, let us repeat that Warren Theater is going to be the staging area for search and rescue. We know that a lot of people are going into that area, but please, only people who are supposed to be there in terms of search and rescue, fire departments, police, stay out of the area otherwise. It's nothing but dangerous, and the police need their room to be able to get in there and try to save anybody who may be in that debris. And that, of course, right now is their utmost importance.
And again, we're looking at the Plaza Towers School, is what we're being told that is. We do not know if the kids were in there or not. We're hoping they weren't, of course, but we'll continue to try and get you more information on that.
John's moving back around to the other side.
That is a huge destruction path.
But there's still trees there. I'm not sure that that is the destruction.
Just north
Because
of,
on the other shots, there were no trees anywhere. And that's what we're looking at. He's Mike, turn up Mike's mic. There we go.
Let me break away here for just a second. Let's go to what we have going on right now. I need to talk about a couple areas here, and I'm only going to talk about the areas that are the most danger right now. I will tell you this storm is recycling now in southeastern Oklahoma County. Let's go to the North Doppler and take a look at it. Tornado warning does continue. It's south of Hera right now, and to the southwest of McLeod. It's recycling. This is the same storm. Still has a tornado warning on it, and the hook now is right on I-40, and it is heading for the area near the Fire Lake Casino again, McLeod, Hera, and up toward Meeker and Prague and Dale and North Shawnee. Hook here still with a tornado warning in effect. That storm is still very dangerous and may put down an additional large tornado as it comes through southeast Oklahoma County, to northern Pottawatomie County, and southern Lincoln County. Back to you.
All right, Mike, we have some urgent requests coming from emergency officials in the Moore area. You see the destruction there. They are trying to get people in there. If you see a flashing light, if you're going to be out and about anytime soon, if you're listening to us on one of our radio family members, if you see a flashing light, get out of the way. They're trying to get down there, and they were saying a lot of people are trying to go down there and help, but it's clogging up the traffic. Please just let emergency officials get in there right now, and then those who want to go down and lend aid can come in after that. But even those who are trying to help are kind of starting to clog up the road, and they understand.
They can't even get by because of the debris on the road, and so the emergency personnel are stopped where the debris is covering the road. And we know so very many of you are anxious about your loved family members and friends who are in that area. We can assure you, police will be down there. There's a whole stream of red and blue lights heading to Moore, Oklahoma right now. At this point, there is very little you can do, very little chance that you'll even be able to get into those areas. So our hearts are with you.
Absolutely, and they said we appreciate those who want to help and those who are frantic about family members, but they've got to get in there right now.
a post-tornadic fire. Here we go. Come to your left.
Okay, John's reporting a post-traumatic fire that may have broken out.
Post-tornadic fire, yeah.
There it is.
Gas leak.
Oh, it's a gas leak.
It's a gas leak.
Okay.
So please, this area remains dangerous. Stay out of the area. We don't know exactly what is on fire there, but you can tell
it looks like it's a structure.
It's a house. It's a house. It's
on
fire.
It's a house.
Yeah.
John's reporting it's a house. John, can you see emergency crews getting into those areas at all yet?
Yes, here's the deal. The toughest part and the hardest part that they really need to get to, there's so much debris that, you need a monster truck to get through. Yeah. There's cars upside down. There's, debris. There's houses, and there's whole houses in the road. So the hardest part they need to get to, they can't get to. But yes, there are a lot of people on the roadway. And here's what part of the issue is the police did a great job stopping people and not letting them even get in the damaging path. And so what they've done is now these people that were in their cars are still congested on the roadway, and now they have to get out of the way. And it was bumper to bumper on almost all these roads are 4-lane roads, so they were full north and south of this damage track. So now they have to find a way to get out. But in some of these neighborhoods, I am seeing a lot of people driving around, and it could be that's their house, they're wanting to check on somebody, or maybe they're just looky-loos. At this time, I don't know, and I'm sure everybody wants to help, but the biggest issue here is the congestion of traffic.
Yeah, you're right, John. We want to tell you about, there's another area that is being opened right now, 89th and Western, Oak Crest Church of Christ, for anybody who does not have power. If you know somebody who does not have power, because if they don't, they're probably not hearing us right now. If you know somebody who doesn't have power, if you've been talking to them on the cell phone, tell them that the Church of Christ at 89th and Western is having some folks come in there and stay with him. That's a refuge center.
Your heart hurts looking at these images. We ask all of you to keep all of these people in your prayers. We have no indication yet of death toll, but we can tell you that just by looking at devastation, unless people heeded the warnings and left the area or were underground, the chances of survival for that type of storm are bad.
Well, those are just foundations.
Well, see, look at the ground behind it.
Right.
There's just nothing. It's like those foundations are just scabs on the landscape.
That's the fire that John was talking about a minute ago. And I know things are wet there. It will keep the ember problem down a little bit, but we sure don't need any fire spreading right now to any of these other areas.
Also need to tell you that Oklahoma City Schools has alerted us to the fact that they are releasing their students. The buses will begin bringing your children home. So Oklahoma City parents, welcome them home with hugs, and it's a scary situation for all of these kids who are being held away from their parents. But as you can see, the devastation at the two schools in Moore, Oklahoma, the Plaza Tower Elementary, and we don't have the name of the other one just yet, was complete. So we have our fingers crossed that those kids were somehow protected or were already gone from the scene. But we do have rescue crews going through the areas right now looking for those who may have survived.
And we're waiting. I know a lot of you folks out there are wanting to know what the injury figures are, or we pray no fatalities, but if are there any fatalities, we'll let you know just as quickly as we find out. But we certainly want to let the emergency officials do their jobs. This is a search and rescue right now, and they've got to get all these folks that they can rescued that may be trapped in the rubble, like we saw yesterday on a much smaller scale than this. But what they were doing yesterday.
John, you did a great job just a few minutes ago for those folks who are just now joining us of moving down the tornado path. Can you do that one more time so that people who are familiar with the Moore area can see where that storm went and what it did? And you are so good about this area because you live down there. And I know that you fear for your family right now, but thank you so much for staying in the air and helping us out with these pictures, because I think it's what our viewers need to see as this storm continues to move. Now, Mike's going to come back in just a moment with other areas that may be of concern to viewers where this tornado is heading, recycling and heading again. But if you'll take us back to where the tornado entered Moore and show us what you see and describe it again for us, I think that would be priceless.
And you might give us a cross streets too, John.
Yeah, coming back to the left. All right, coming back to the left, we're going to have Penn, and in Oklahoma City, it's going to be 134th Street. Yeah, but hang on, come back to the right. Sorry, and right there, that intersection, that's Penn and 134th. And back to the left there's a lot of scabbed landscape, homes out here, kind of on acreage, so there's not the population density is not there. So we're going to start right here at Penn and 134th Street. We're going to pan back to the right. So in Moore, this is going to be 4th Street for you guys we're fixing to come into. And as you can see, all the houses right here, primarily roof damage. Just to the north of that, as you can see, right there, there used to be, I'm drawing a blank here because I'm not used to seeing it without anything.
Oh,
I believe there's a convenience store right there. And then just in the north side of that oval track, that's at the Orr family farm. So right there, we're going to travel down 149th Street here, which is going to be just south of the Warren Theater. We're in between 4th and 19th Street. We're tracking along. There's the new Dick's that they built, the Target, the Home Depot. We're coming up this way right here.
Are those the buildings we see destroyed in right there? That was a Home Depot and a Target. Is that what you're saying?
No. This right here, that's the Plaza Towers Elementary School. The 19th Street south of 4th Street,
okay.
And we're fixing to cross Santa Fe If you guys are familiar with this area, there's like the golf course here on the south side of the road. All this where the house is burning at's in that neighborhood that's just north of, like there's a Dan McGinnis, like an Irish pub right there, just north of that. We're going to continue to go to the east over several other schools and homes that if Travis will go just to the left just a bit, that's that first elementary school we showed you right there, and now we'll back out and we'll continue to come. Now this, where we're coming to right now, is just on the south side of the Moore Warren Theater. This is going to be on Telephone Road in between 4th Street. That's what? Yeah, we're coming up on...
so there's the Warren over on,
in between 4th Street. There's the Warren right there.
Yeah, right.
If we're going to look to your left, Travis will pan back out, and that's the Norman Hospital right there. Right in front of that is going to be the bowling alley, the AMC bowling alley, if you guys are familiar, right there.
So
in front of that
gone.
was, I believe it's gone.
You can still see
in front
the
of
lanes,
that was a Century 21 office. To the left side of that was a bank. And now we're crossing I-35. We're just south of 4th Street, and we're continuing to see this is another housing addition that comes into the area. We're coming up to where Moore annexed this property right here. They're putting a park in. We're crossing the railroad tracks now. We're still headed eastbound.
Okay.
We're coming behind the alternative school here in Moore. We're coming behind the neighborhood market, and we're fixing to cross Eastern. Just to the left is Eastern. Right there on the left side of your screen is Eastern and 4th Street. The tornado just tracked just south of Eastern and is continuing pretty much eastbound right now. The next building you're going to see in the top left of your screen is the Brink Junior High. It came just to the south, or the south side of it.
Just missed
pretty much just trashed. I believe that's the gym or the area where the kids do athletics. Just in the top of the screen as Travis pans out, we're going to show you the that's the Moore auxiliary, the Moore public office building where
John, I hate to interrupt you, but I hate to interrupt you. Mike needs to come back on to warn people of these storms that are still developing. We'll come right back to you, Mike.
And Linda, I'd like to point out, back on May 3rd, 8,100 homes damaged or destroyed, 1,040 apartment complexes damaged or destroyed. The injury count was 583, and the fatality count for the Bridge Creek Moore tornado was 36 deaths. Now, we don't know anything about those statistics right there, the ones that really matter. But I think it's clear to say the 8,100 homes and 1,040 apartment complexes, this is clearly much more widespread and devastating as far as the damage. This tornado was much wider. It does appear to be likely an F5. It's difficult to say scientifically likely an F5, but it looks like it is an F5. And it was a $1.2 billion storm on May 3rd, 1999. This is clearly much more massive in scope in terms of the damage. Geographical area, it's much larger. Let's go ahead and take a look at the storm tracker right now. Now, there are quite a few tornado warnings out. We have Mike Bennett on this one. He does not see a tornado warning right now, but it is heading for Meeker and Prague, just to the north of Shawnee. It's just north of I-40, near the Fire Lake Grand Casino right now. It'll track just north of the Shawnee Mall. That has a tornado warning on it right now. And also severe storms continue in the Midwest City area. Those have some large hail with them, but right now no tornado with that. This one, Reed Timmer, we are in contact with our storm trackers throughout this coverage, and we have them on the Gentners. We're in contact with them. This has had a tornado with it. It is still heading for Pauls Valley, Maysville, Pauls Valley, 432 for Pauls Valley. With that supercell, it has had a decent-sized tornado with it, fairly large. So that's still a tornado warning for Garvin County. And then really out of our viewing area, south of Waurika, down by Ryan, there's been a tornado down there coming into Jefferson County. So those are the three main threat areas right now. Kevin, Linda?
All right, Mike, we appreciate that very much. We want to talk now to one of our reporters on the way to the damaged area, Lance West. We might show that over the aerial of what John Welsh is showing us now, that horrific damage out there in Moore. Lance?
Hey, guys, we're traveling southbound. We had to get off I-35. It is absolute chaos. Cars are stopped in the southbound lanes from about Crossroads Mall, I-240. You cannot move southbound on I-35. We have sort of wound our way around through some neighborhoods. We are tailing an EMS ambulance right now, lights and sirens flashing as it heads down toward this particular area that was hit so hard by this storm. We're seeing a huge, dark plume of smoke coming from up in the area, which we can only assume is perhaps a large fire as a result of gas lines that have been severed as a result of this horrific tornado. We are in Moore right now, but we have not seen the damage field just yet. I'd say we're still about a half-mile north of there. We're just now coming up to Northwest 12th, and we're on Shields, I believe. No, we're on Janeway Avenue right now, and we're heading southbound. Here's another ambulance coming in. It is all hands on deck, guys. They have got every firefighter and police officer heading down. Absolute chaos as we head now.
All right.
Trailing this ambulance into the damage zone.
Lance, that plume of smoke is a structure fire that broke out after that in one of the damaged areas. Can you tell if the other traffic out there is letting these emergency vehicles through?
Well, they're doing the best they can, but quite frankly, it is 3-4 cars wide on the interstates and even on some of the back roads where this ambulance we followed went up over the grass on the median. We're traveling now in the eastbound lanes heading west right now, and it's just cars stopped in every direction. It's mayhem down here, guys.
Yeah.
People need to get out of this area. If you don't live down here, you don't need to be down here because emergency personnel need to get to these victims, and I would suspect, based on what we're seeing, there will be a lot of victims as a result of this terrible tornado.
Lance, as soon as you arrive at a location, please check back with us and tell us what you can find and what you're seeing. We do want to show you some additional photos that have come in. This is the I-44 bridge. Those who travel in the south part of Oklahoma City will be familiar with it. You can see some of the damage around that bridge as this storm moved toward the Moore area. We also have Tony Beverly, who's going to be joining us in just a moment. He operates our live truck, and he's got a location where he can show you some more of the damage, and we're going to check back with him.
Let's let me ask John real quick. John, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. John, have you checked on your family? Because your family was in the strike zone.
Yeah, they did, and you know that where we talked about that Veterans Memorial Park, my house is about 1/8 of a mile north of there, and I know it's still standing. My wife sent me a text. We have obviously a plan on where we go because I'm never going to be there during a storm. So we got a storm shelter. She goes to it. She knows what she's doing. She did text me she's okay, so that's good news.
That's good. Okay.
I've got some other friends and family here that are okay as well. And I'm hoping the same for the majority of these people right here.
Absolutely. I know a lot of your friends and neighbors are around there, John, and you're doing a remarkable job dealing with that emotion as well as trying to give us the facts and the scope of the damage there.
Has the situation...
As you can see, Kevin, that...
Go ahead, John.
Go ahead, Linda.
Has the situation...
I was going to say, as you can see, that fire right there is just completely engulfing that house, and fire crews can't get there because they've got more important things to do than put out a house fire. One thing that we hope doesn't happen is these houses they're probably about 8 to 10, 12 feet away. Well, they're more than 8. They're probably 10 to 12 on that one right there we're showing you. I'm hoping that it doesn't spread to that and then just kind of leapfrog effect. I'm looking back behind us, and there's some heavy rain, but I think it's going to go north. But as you can see, the fire crews are so wrapped up in making sure everybody's safe and trying to get everybody out that they're just letting the house completely burn. That's how the devastation here. You can't even do your basic job because you're doing so much more and trying to help everybody out. This is definitely some of the worst damage I've ever seen in my life, and I've been to a few Middle Eastern countries. This is especially when this is your hometown. This is where you're from. It's hard to see all this, and these houses are just gone. I mean, the foundation, there's trees, there's nothing. It's just bare ground. It's ripped completely. It's ripped the grass up even. And if it could have ripped dirt up, I'm sure it did. I bet you the elevation's a few inches lower as this storm just tracked from Newcastle all the way to almost Draper Lake there.
You know, we become somewhat cavalier, John, when we hear these tornado warnings because you live in Oklahoma, it happens all the time. But when you see the devastation like this, and of course the damage that we saw in yesterday's tornadoes and storms, it reminds you have to have a place where you can go underground. It's simply not enough to be in a closet anymore when storms of this magnitude scour their way through our towns and communities and families and neighborhoods.
Well, that's so, and I just put together a story about a fellow who and his family jumped in their closet yesterday with that big tornado that went through. It didn't do much good because the house was picked up and turned upside down, and they're all in the hospital now. So what you said is a very good point. It's amazing that the Warren didn't sustain more damage there, John.
He's talking to
he's got a lot going on up there.
Tony Beverly. Tony Beverly runs one of our live trucks. Let's go to him right now. Tony, tell us, first of all, where you are and what you're seeing.
Well, Linda, I'm here off of Southwestern. I'm in between 134 and 149, Southwest 134 and 149. I'm over here near the Orr family ranch, and there's just so much devastation over here. Horses everywhere. There are dead horses. There are structures that are on fire. There are structures that are gone. Trees have been uprooted out of the ground. There's fires all over the place. So it's very chaotic out here at this time. I have with me the owner of this Orr family farm with me, and he can give us a little bit more assessment as to what's going on out here in his area as far as his farm is concerned. And so if permitted, I'd like to ask Dr. Orr here a little bit about what's going on.
Well, it's devastation totally.
Okay, so you run this farm here, sir?
Yes.
Okay, so how many, you've lost quite a bit as far as animals. Did everybody get out okay?
Well, as far as we know, so far everybody got out okay. It's just that we have, on the Celestial Acres part, we have, probably there's maybe 75 to 100 dead horses and some horses wandering around in a stupor, and then Orr Family Farm, which we have thousands of people come out every year, will be rebuilt, but right now it's devastation.
Okay, well, as you can see, there's quite a bit of devastation out here. We'll continue to give you information as it comes available. This is Tony Beverly with News Channel 4.
Tony, talk to me for just a second, if you would, please. Where were you when the tornado hit, and how did you manage to get into this area?
Well, Linda, we were headed south on I-35. OHP blocked I-35 off, but they were allowing us to come through. And as we made our way south and then somewhat a little west of I-35, we began to run into a lot of the devastation, a lot of things that were going on out here. I'm told that there is a daycare center somewhere out here, and the daycare center is obliterated. It's gone. Not sure exactly where the kids are, so we're going to look into that. And once we find out more information, we'll bring it back to you.
Please tell Dr. Orr that our thoughts are with him and for all those who have suffered such tremendous losses. You could see the shock in his face as he told you about, he said 75 to 100 dead horses, other horses injured, many of them walking around in a stupor. The Orr family farm devastated.
Now, we were talking about
the blood on that horse.
Absolutely, yeah. We were talking about the elementary schools that were hit that we saw from John Welsh and Bob Moore Chopper 4. We are still waiting to find out if there were kids inside there and teachers inside and staff members when that storm hit, and we're getting that verified as quickly as possible. We have new information. Come on up, Daniel.
It's so hard to tell where we are, John, but we've had someone call in to tell us that one of those elementary schools, the school at 149th and Hudson, was Briarwood Elementary. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. So we got Briarwood and Plaza Towers.
Yeah.
If it's 149th, that house right there that school that Travis is on right now, that is Briarwood. The other the other school that we showed you initially is going to be Plaza Towers.
John, now some schools are out for the year, but I guess it's not in Moore, right?
No, my kids go to Moore, and I think Thursday's the last day.
Okay.
But what they do is some of these schools, because Moore is such a big school district, they stagger the bus routes. So some schools get out like at 2:15, and then some schools like Morgan, she has to go, and she stays until like I think 3:40, and they're adjusting it every year. So because of the inflow of the students. So I'm not for sure. We're really getting blown around here. I'm not for sure about times of release for these schools here. So they could have been out for the day.
John, thank you very much. We're going to go to Mike real quickly, but let me invite any parents who may have children in those schools. If your children are safe and you know for a fact that they weren't being sheltered in those schools, please call our newsroom and let us know that so we can pass that information along. We've been unable to confirm whether the children were being sheltered in the schools or whether they had already been released. So help us to know that information. Mike?
Linda, I think it's shockingly clear that what we're looking at is tragically the biggest destructive tornado in the history of the world, because this destruction is dwarfing May 3rd, which was a $1.2 billion damage storm with 8,000 homes and 1,000 plus apartment complexes damaged or destroyed. This one is, destruction-wise, is 2 to 3 times the magnitude of May 3rd, 1999. So this is the worst tornado damage-wise in the history of the world. I think that is completely and shockingly clear with our pictures from Bob Moore Chopper 4 and our crews. Now, we have important information to pass along. Lincoln County, southern Lincoln County, intensifying storm, could be a tornado on the ground right now. We are in contact with every one of our storm trackers on every storm that is a threat to life right now. Those are the tornado-warned storms. So let's go to the storm tracker, and this appears to be either a tornado on the ground or a rapidly developing tornado. It is heading directly for Meeker. Meeker, you're in the direct path, south side of Jacktown, down Highway 62, over toward Prague. But you folks in Meeker, below ground, interior closet or bathroom isn't going to do it. You've got to be below ground or out of the way. Storm cellar, basement, or safe room, that's where you've got to be. Meeker. Let's go to Mark Dillard live. He's on that storm right now. It is rapidly intensifying. Mark?
Yes, Mike, we are just north of Shawnee on 177, and we have a large, what I'm going to call a bowl-shaped tornado on the ground, I believe. I can't really see through it, Mike. It's so dark ahead of me. It is basically, from my vantage point, it's about a mile wide, and that would pretty much put it in perspective from what just went through the Oklahoma City and more areas. This thing's probably recycled, and it is now a very, very large tornado. I've got some damage path from yesterday's storm, so we're trying to negotiate some of that right now, but I still have a lot of turning on each side of this large wedge that you can see in my stream, hopefully. We've got some emergency crews here just along 177 as we're heading north. We're going to try to get into it as far as we can and see what kind of damage it's been doing, if it's still on the ground. And I do believe that there's some section vortices probably still in contact with the ground just due to the immense darkness and turning that's going on in front of us here. So, folks, obviously off into the Meeker area, you're going to want to be heads up. Same rotation as yesterday. Just be ready to go if you have to. And we urge you, if you're in the path of the storm, probably going to want to get below ground or to a safe spot as soon as possible. Mike, back to you.
Mark, again, you're right there. Now, the important thing we have to pass along to you, for you folks in Meeker, this is what it very much appears to be a large tornado, and I don't take that statement lightly, because this is the same storm that produced the destruction in Moore and the South Metro. It's the same storm. It is cycled. The wind velocities that we are showing are large and violent, so it is a big tornado. You saw Mark Dillard's stream. That was it in the middle of that darkened area. That could be debris, and it is heading directly for the town of Meeker. And it's only 5 miles west of Meeker right now. You folks in Meeker, protect your life. Be out of the way, below ground. Interior closet or bathroom is not going to be enough. Storm cellar, basement, safe room. If you're in your mobile home, evacuate that mobile home. This is what we believe a large tornado. You see the hook spinning around. It's over Jacktown right now on Highway 62, and it's heading directly toward Meeker. I want to go back to Mark Dillard. This is again live, and we're talking about continued threat to life and limb in the Jacktown, Meeker area right now. Let's go back to Mark Dillard. Mark, how far south of 62 are you right now?
Mike, I think we're just about full south here. Still got some wrapping rain coming in on me, so it's difficult to tell if it's rain wrapped and it's still in contact with the ground, but it's so dark in there. And generally, that's what we're dealing with, folks. It's so dark. In the very middle of these tornadic supercells, it's almost guaranteed that. And I do have some definition off to my north and east. I can almost see all the way underneath it, I think, Mike. So I'm not for sure that we've got a funnel all the way in contact with the ground, but our winds are picking up just a little bit here as we're getting closer to the circulation, and I do have a lot of rapid rain with it. So the bottom line is, folks, it's created large damage. It's been a long track system so far.
Okay. Let's go to the North Doppler control room. I do believe this is on the ground. It's up on those rotating rain curtains. There's Jacktown right there. Here's Highway 62. This is Meeker. This is the Pottawatomie County line right here. This is Lincoln County right here. All Lincoln County. Jacktown right there. Meeker right here. It's only 4 miles west of Meeker. And I'm showing vortex circulation here. In the past sweep, just the past sweep, it has come down a notch. So it's probably spinning out right now, or at least spinning down. But it has been on the ground back in through here, a tight vortex signature. There is a tornado warning firmly in effect with this storm. Let's go to the storm tracker, and you folks from Jacktown, it's over Jacktown right now, over to Meeker. Meeker in particular could go as far north as Sparks. You folks need to protect your life as this heads your way. You want to be someplace below ground, out of the way, storm cellar, basement, or safe room if you're fortunate enough to have one of those. This is a dangerous storm. The tornado warning is in effect. It is north of Shawnee. There's OBU right there, and there's I-40 right there. Let's briefly check back with Mark Dillard, then we're going to move to one more storm we got to talk about that Reed Timmer's on. Go, Mark, briefly.
Okay, Mike, yes, it was very rapid rotation. Now, I don't believe we still have a funnel in contact with the ground, although we may still have some section vortices off into the rain curtains. There's wrapping rain curtains as far in front of this thing as about a quarter to a half mile in front of the main circulation center here. So, or even maybe up to 3/4 of a mile in front. So it's wrapping down. It's beginning to form another base to it, it looks like. So it could put down another funnel at any time. If not, there's already one down in the center of that darkness off to our north and east from 177 here. We're just southwest of Meeker, about 4.5 or 5 miles. So it's right on top of Meeker right now. So folks, take your tornado precautions if you're in this area in the path of the storm, because it's been down or already be on the ground and just a rain wrap and not be able to see it, Mike.
Okay, let's go to the storm tracker, talk about this storm further south heading for Pauls Valley. Again, it has to be a balance between continued threat to life and what we have had happen in the South Metro. And this is what's happening right now, ongoing supercells with tornado warnings and likely tornadic activity. This is to the west-southwest of Pauls Valley, just on the northern sides of Elmore City, but there's circulation very close to Elmore City right now, and it is traveling toward Pauls Valley. Pauls Valley 445, Wynnewood 448, Stratford at 517. Those are the two most serious storms in the state, and if you're in the path of either one of these, you need to be in a very safe location as these move through. There are tornadoes on the ground down at the Red River. That's out of our viewing area, and there are also tornadoes on the ground north of Tulsa up in Washington County. That is also out of our viewing area. Thunderstorms do continue in the South Metro. The primary threat with these is hail up to about quarter size. These are not especially severe based on what we've had earlier today, but that lead storm, Kevin and Linda, you see that between Jacktown and Meeker. That is an imminent tornado, I think likely still on the ground on Highway 62, maybe the northern sides of town, heading directly from Meeker. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Mike. We have some new information. Mid-Dell schools have released students on buses. Some are walking right now. Kids from one damaged school are gathering at 156th and Vicky in the Stone Meadows neighborhood. And there's been some flooding at the airport as well. But, of course, the flooding is the least of our worries right now when we have the kind of damage we do in Moore.
We're still waiting to hear officially from the Moore school system to find out if children were being sheltered in place at the two schools that were destroyed, Briarwood Elementary and Plaza Towers Elementary. We have received a phone call from a parent only. Let me emphasize that. This is a parent who said they had received phone calls earlier in the day to say that more public schools were on lockdown until the tornado passed. That is not official word. It's simply our first indication from a parent in Moore about what may have happened. But we have our fingers crossed that those children are all safe. This was taken by Bob Moore, Chopper 4 earlier.
This was earlier video as when the clouds cleared and John Welsh could see what was happening. And John lives in this area. He lives just a little bit north of there. His home was not affected by this, but his wife and kids, of course, took shelter. They're okay. They text him, but just a little bit to the south of him, you saw what the damage was. A lot of his friends and neighbors there, and we are just hoping for the best on these casualty reports that should be coming in soon.
We feel your frustration as well because cell phones aren't working in that area. It's impossible to get information from individual families right now, and we know how frantic you are to have word of your loved ones. We're working as quickly as we can to get any confirmed information back to you that's possible. Right now, rescue and search and rescue crews are on the scene, but so far we've had no word of fatalities or injuries that we can report back to you. They are working frantically to do what they can in an area that has been quite literally devastated. It's
been, many areas have been wiped clean in that area, unfortunately, like back in '99. Adam Mertz, one of our many crews on the scene right now. Adam, what can you tell us from your vantage point? It looks like complete destruction behind you.
And where are you?
It really is. We are at the Orr family farm. We arrived here about 5 minutes ago, and there is absolutely nothing left out here. This is where the horse stalls were, we're told. We just spoke with Dr. Orr, the owner here, and you could see the entire landscape here. This is 106 acres, completely wiped out by the path of this tornado that just tracked right through this area. You can't even tell what any of this stuff was. One of the first questions I had for them when I got out here, I said, were these homes? What was this? You honestly can't even tell. But they tell me that these were horse stalls out here where they'd store a ton of these horses. A lot of the animals didn't make it through the storm. And then if you look farther off in the distance, you can see homes that are on the other side of this property. So we're talking about just complete and utter devastation out here. And right now, the people that I've spoken to, a lot of the people that are related to the family that runs this farm out here, they're just trying to find some of these animals. A lot of them are in very bad shape. They're going to have to put them down immediately because of just what they went through. But again, when you look across, I mean, if we just kind of pan over here to the left, you see that plume of smoke. I believe Bob Moore Chopper 4 was over that earlier. And then just you can see the path of how this tornado just kind of came right through here. And it gives you an idea of how wide it was. Because, I mean, from where I'm standing, I'm looking hundreds of yards to the south of me, and I can't even see past the devastation. And it's on every single side of us. So you're talking about just a huge path that this tornado just carved right through the center of this farm here, through residential neighborhoods, and then up right through the heart of Moore, really. And again, if you look off in the distance, you can see some people running out there. They're running to go check on animals. People just keep showing up here in tears. I mean, it is just absolutely heartbreaking. The only thing you're
talking about the devastation. Mike Morgan said at one point that twister was 2.25 miles wide. So that gives us some idea of what you're looking at right now.
And Adam, we also got word that between 75 and 100 horses were killed on that farm. And as you said, many others, unfortunately, will have to be put down especially if they suffer things like broken legs.
Adam, we spoke to Dr. Orr a little bit earlier. And we can see some of the people around there who appear to be employees of Orr Farms. Where did they ride out the twister? Do you have any idea about that yet? I know you just arrived on the scene, but do you know?
Well, when I got here, I immediately spoke to Dr. Orr. He's driving around in a golf cart just surveying the damage, looking for any animals. And he actually had to pull away from us because they'd found some horses that were off in the distance that needed immediate attention. Out here, we can see some law enforcement officers have showed up as well. They're here sporadically, but one of the things we noticed as we were making our way out to this area, the power's knocked out everywhere. So no matter what street you're on, you can't get through. But you just saw this steady stream of police, ambulance, OG&E workers, everyone just trying to get through these areas. I mean, if you could listen real closely, you can almost hear the sirens off in the background. No matter where you're at in this area, it's silence other than the ambulances and the paramedics and the officers just trying to get through here to areas just like this that have been hit extremely hard. I mean, even where we're at right now, I mean, I could see some of the ambulances, some of the firefighters, police way off in the distance. It really, you're a loss for words when you see this stuff up close. I mean, luckily, at least here at the farm, what Dr. Orr told me is that there were no injuries. So they must have rode out the storm somewhere safe where they can get underground or that they were away from where this came through here. I'm assuming he told me they've been out here for 40 plus years, so they obviously must have a safe spot that they could go to in times like this. And so luckily, from what the doctor told me, that no injuries, at least to some of his workers or families. So he has nothing to report on that. But again, when you look out here and you kind of you can't see past any of the damage. I mean, even right where we're at, I'm shocked when they told me that these were horse stalls because it could have been a house. You really can't tell the difference between any of this stuff out here because it's completely wiped away. It's almost like
If we may,
Yeah,
we want to come back to you, but we've gotten some more information about the schools. And, of course, people are very frantic about what happened to the children in Briarwood Elementary and Plaza Towers Elementary. Now, we can confirm and know for a fact that 2:45, a message was sent to parents on the internet saying we are currently holding all students with the current storm danger until the current storm danger is over. Students are being released to parents only at this time. We will notify you by the same method when students are released, when the student release begins. You need to put this in context. There's no way for these people to communicate down there very much. The Moore Administration Building, we're told, was also damaged, so they're going to have difficulty getting word out of that. We have not confirmed any of this with Moore School Administration, but
we unfortunately think that some kids were in those two buildings because of the lockdown order and because of what we're getting from our news desk right now. We will, of course, continue to update you on that just as quickly as we can on that. Right now, let's go to Lance West, who is on the road. Lance, are you getting any closer to the damaged area?
Hey, I'm in the neighborhood walking right now. I just talked to a gentleman. What's your name?
Ollie Dozier.
Tully, he was at this school. What's the name of the school, my friend?
Plaza Towers.
That's Plaza Towers. We are probably 200 yards away. He says he's been pulling out children, third graders. They're in the classroom. I see a lot of people that are huddled outside the building. Helicopters are flying in. There's fire and police officers doing door-to-door searches. It is absolute chaos down here. Thank you, my friend. Be safe. We appreciate you. It is, I've never seen anything like this in my 18 years covering tornadoes here in Oklahoma City. This is, without question, the most horrific I've ever seen.
Okay,
Lance.
Listen, we need to get this information. We understand what you're looking at and how horrific it is, but you are telling us that you have confirmed that children were in the Plaza Tower Elementary School, that the gentleman you were just talking to was pulling out third graders. Is that correct?
That is correct. I'm racing over there as quickly as I can.
All right,
and they get a lot of people trying to help.
All right, Lance, and they're pulling third graders out. We hope that, of course, they were in their tornado positions, and hopefully that some of them are going to be okay. Lance is on his way over there right now. You got to understand, when you go down to these scenes and you see this firsthand, not just through the prism of the television, but when you're there living it, it is an extremely emotional event for reporters as well as all those involved. And Lance is one of our best reporters, Emmy Award-winning reporter, and he's going to get that information for us. But he's human just like the rest of us, and it is a devastating sight to see these kind of things.
Mike Morgan, we're looking at earlier video of the storm that moved into Moore, but that storm is not finished yet. Tell us where it is now.
It is not. It's over by Meeker, and our storm tracker, Mark Dillard, still has a tornado on the ground on the northwest side of Meeker. Urgently right now, I have to pass this along to you. With this tornado warning now for Garvin County, this is a rapidly developing tornado that could be significant in size. There is a tornado warning in effect for Pauls Valley. It is heading directly for Pauls Valley, and we do have Reed Timmer. Reed Timmer is on that storm right now, and we'll be checking back with him. But if you're in Pauls Valley, it is heading directly into town, as you can see right now, 442 or before, and then from there it's going to head on up towards Stratford at 511. That is a intensifying supercell circulation, which appears to be a tornado either on the ground or developing to the ground right now. Reed Timmer is on it, but it is heading directly for Pauls Valley. That is an immediate tornado warning for you in Pauls Valley. Let's go to the North Doppler radar, look at Meeker. Mark Dillard still has a tornado on the ground here. This is on the northern side of Meeker. It went to the north of Meeker. That is good news. It is in rural countryside to the northeast of Meeker right now. It'll likely go just south of Sparks, but there is a tornado warning for Lincoln County. Let's go to Weather Show. Here are the tornado warnings that are in effect right now. They are southern Lincoln County, Pauls Valley, all of Garvin County, and southern Jefferson County. Right now, the most immediate threat to life is in Pauls Valley. Kevin and Linda will check in with Reed Timmer and be right back with you.
And we're doing our best to get information from Moore, and particularly for parents down there. We have received reliable information at this point that many of the students were sheltered at the school at Moore High. We are told they have not yet been released. The kids are scared, but we're told the teachers are doing their best to keep them safe and calm. So that's good news, at least for some parents in Moore.
That in Moore High School, but there are several high schools in Moore.
Right.
Westmore and Noble Public Schools are releasing students right now, but more is not.
And again, to tell you again, Plaza Tower Elementary, apparently some of the kids were being sheltered there. There are injuries. We hope that that's where it's limited. Lance West, we're going to check back with him first, but Ed Doney is on the scene as well. Ed?
Well, Linda, we're on the road. We're on Southwest 119th, heading east from I-44, and the rain has finally stopped. We were getting pelted with hail right south of where I-40 meets 44. The hail was about, nickel size, quarter size in diameter, but that has subsided. It's now not raining. We're on Southwest 119th, trying to head toward that area where the tornado went through more. No traffic right now on Southwest 119th, but it is backed up for miles on I-44 if you're heading southbound near the Will Rogers World Airport. So just know the traffic is basically a parking lot in that area.
Yeah, we can understand that, Ed. And we know a lot of people want to go down there and help, but please don't do that right now. The emergency crews need to get in there, and it's tough enough sledding, as you heard from Ed, who's on the road right now, getting through the traffic the way it is at this point.
And as search and rescue continues and more, that storm continues to churn through parts of Oklahoma. Let's go right now immediately to Mike Morgan.
Linda, we are tracking two areas that we're concerned with most of all. North of Meeker, which is in rural countryside in southern Lincoln County, but the storm heading into Pauls Valley, and you should have Reen Timmer here on the Gentner coming up momentarily. Let's go down to the storm tracker, and we're talking about Pauls Valley. This is a significant circulation now with a tornado warning coming right into Pauls Valley. Reed, what do you have?
Yeah, right now we are looking northeast right toward Pauls Valley. We can definitely see the right side of a wall cloud with rain wrapping around the left side, so I would not be surprised there's a rain-wrapped tornado in there. We're trying to punch through the hook here. Definitely trying to maintain focus. A lot of our friends, are in the path of that tornado, and our thoughts and prayers go out to those people. But we got to get on this storm in Pauls Valley and see if this thing has a tornado, because the tornadic activity continues in Oklahoma. And you definitely see the right side of the wall cloud, and it's a very low wall cloud on the right side, and the rain is concealing the left side where the tornado would be. So we're heading that direction. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a tornado in there. We'll find out here pretty soon.
Okay, there's two main areas. Let's go to the North Doppler, and we're going to stay here with Reed here and just get past I-35. Up here by Whitebead, crossing I-35 right now. That'd be to the northwest of Pauls Valley by 4 miles by Whitebead. That is a strong circulation right there, and also on the west side of Pauls Valley, a strong circulation right there. You're looking at the actual wind velocities inside the storm, and this is tornado circulation right here. Let's go to the storm tracker, and it is going to be tracking across I-35. You see the hook, and watch how the hook swings around. The hook is swinging around right now, so I'd say either it's on the ground or it is coming to the ground right now, as Reed Timmer was indicating as well. And this is going to be from Pauls Valley up to Whitebead, just south of Paoli. This could be hail near baseball size up around Paoli, heading for Byers. The tornado warning has been extended for the panhandle of McLean County, and then it's going into Pottawatomie County. You folks in Pottawatomie County are also under a tornado warning ahead of the track of this supercell with what I believe is a likely tornado. Let's check back with Reed here with a live update. Reed?
Yeah, we're about to clear these trees and gain better visual here to the left. Yep, there's definitely a wall cloud, and it looks like very low wall cloud right now that we could see on that western circulation, probably west-southwest of Pauls Valley right now. Very low wall cloud. I don't know if you can see it on the screen there. Zoom in, and it looks like there's probably, if there is a tornado, another tornado to the left of the rain. There's a well-defined clear slot in this storm, too, which means you see that white, clear air that's wrapping around the circulation. Just to the north of that is where the tornado would be. So Pauls Valley should definitely be taking cover. It's a tornadic storm. You can see the speeder band speeding into it. Very low wall cloud.
Thank you, Reed. Appreciate that. Now, the important thing to know about this is a dangerous storm, and the way the velocities are looking, the way the hook is swinging around, it could produce a significant tornado if it isn't doing so already. From Pauls Valley up to Whitebead, Paoli southbound, from there up toward Byers. In McLean County, Byers, there's your time of arrival. Paoli, Byers at 5:06, Stratford 5:11, Winnett 5:12, and then down toward Asher by 5:24. So also up into Pottawatomie County. Southern Pottawatomie County could clip the northeastern corner of Pontotoc County, northwestern corner of Pontotoc County as well. This has all the earmark signs of producing a tornado if it isn't on the ground already. At Pauls Valley right now, there's also a strong circulation just up the road from Pauls Valley, between Pauls Valley and Whitebead. So please don't take this lightly. Conditions are still prime for additional tornadic activity. Kevin and Linda, we'll get back with you as conditions warrant. Back to you.
All right, and if you were with us within the past 30 minutes, you heard Lance West as he approached Plaza Towers Elementary School. Let's join him again on the phone. Lance, I know this is a very emotional, devastating scene that you're looking at.
Yeah, it certainly is. We are here just 5 feet away from the school right now. What was apparently the gymnasium, there are firefighters and other emergency personnel doing their best to save. Those are classrooms right there? Okay, those are classrooms and hallways, I'm told. I stand corrected from some of the parents out here waiting to get word. It is our understanding right now that there are at least 15 children trapped under this debris.
Oh, my gosh.
There were 75 kids in the classroom. Okay, I'm telling you, the number has just been upgraded. 75 kids were in that hallway and classroom when this tornado hit. Firefighters are standing on what is essentially a large pile of debris, trying to find these kids that are hopefully still alive. There's a triage center that's set up on what looks like it may have been a basketball court at one point, and they are using doors and pieces of plywood as stretchers to try to get the victims out. I see one little boy. He looks to be probably 3rd grade. Also a woman next to him who's laying flat, but she's breathing and moving. I would suspect she may be a school teacher. They're just a host of volunteers, folks here doing everything they can, but this is about the worst damage I've ever seen, and you can only pray for the families as they search for these kids who may still be trapped under debris in the school.
Absolutely, and those parents waiting to hear word, my goodness.
So,
that's
Lance,
Plaza Towers, right, Lance?
That is correct. We're at Plaza Towers, and everything within a square mile of this school has just been decimated by this storm.
Lance, are parents being kept back, or are they working to look for their children?
They are not allowing the parents to get onto the debris pile, obviously way too dangerous. There are down power lines, debris everywhere with nails, gas leaks, things like that. But there are parents who are trying to make it in here. We, fortunately, were able to follow some emergency vehicles and get access, but most of the folks have been stopped about a mile back from the destruction zone.
Have you seen children removed from the debris who have been transported?
We just saw one child, and he's standing now. It looks like he's hugging someone, maybe his parent, but we have only seen one child that has been transported. We have seen other people, other victims transported from here in the backs of pickup trucks. There are some four-wheel drives that are maneuvering in. I'm looking at a Jeep right now that seems to have clearance and was able to make it into this area.
All right.
But for the most part, it's very limited access for the average citizen to get in here. They're going door to door, searching these homes, searching storm shelters. We met a family as they were coming out of their shelter, and they were just devastated. They said that their neighbors were pounding on the door to get in as the tornado came in, and they didn't have the strength to open the door because the wind was so devastating. They don't know what happened to their neighbors.
And Lance, we want to verify this again. You're telling us that 75 children were in class when that storm hit Plaza Towers, and they believe those 75, they're searching for all of them right now. Is that correct?
That is what I'm being told by one of the rescuers here on the scene, that there were 75 people inside that building in the hallway, which was the secure place, the safe environment, the tornado shelter, if you will. But the walls are gone, cinder block walls that are 8 inches thick, and the roof is completely gone. It basically looks like it just collapsed in on itself, and there are search and rescue personnel on top of this 10-foot mountain of debris going through the pile, screaming for victims. So we're not anything, but we can only hope that they can search and that they continue to yield some positive results.
Absolutely.
And we do need some hopeful news, and you did tell us, for those just joining us, we're talking about the Plaza Towers Elementary School. 75 children and staff members believed to be in the school when the tornado hit. They were sheltering in the hallway, which was deemed their safe spot. There is no safe spot above ground for an F5 if this turns out to be that. But Lance, you were saying that you saw at least one child who came out of the debris and was hugging a parent or somebody. Is that correct?
That is correct. A young man, probably about 8 to 10 years old, I would say.
Okay, well, that's a good sign, Lance,
and
if they were all there together.
Loaded. I told you about that Jeep, that four-wheel drive. She's being loaded into that Jeep right now very gingerly, and she will be taken out of here. Also talked to a gentleman by the name of Pat Smith. He has a child in the school, pulled his child out 10 minutes before the tornado hit. and then came back to help in the search and rescue efforts. And he told me that they pulled out 30 kids alive, but the search continues for even more.
All right.
Okay, so you're saying of the 75 who were sheltered in that school, 30 were pulled out alive? Is that what you're saying?
I do know that there were 30 pulled out. I don't know if there's still 75 more in there or if we can track those 30, but I was told that there were some 75 in that area when the storm hit.
All right. Be very careful with this information. Yes.
Right. All right,
yeah,
Lance.
I mean, obviously, I'm going to continue to get more information from the folks out here. This is all very preliminary.
Right. Lance, we appreciate your effort as a parent yourself, and those parents like us watching it is a very difficult assignment that our Lance West has right now, but nothing compared to what those families are going through at this point.
Adam Mertz is on the scene as well in a different